Hey guys, this is Rachel with Cypress Textiles, and today we're going to be making the Rebecca square from the 2016 Vibrant Vintage Crochet Along, or VVCAL. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is make a slip knot, and then chain 3, and you can chain 4 here, or you can do magic ring, whatever you prefer. Slip stitch into the 3rd chain from the hook to make a ring. And then we're going to get started with puff stitches. So you need to elongate your loop to about 1 inch, and these are going to be long puff stitches. So some folks had issues with this when we did this crochet along in 2016, so I'm just going to go through it. So about 1 inch, pull up your loop, then yarn over, and everything's going to stay very loose. If you start to make too much tension, your puff is only going to be as tall as the height of this loop. So if you start making it more tight and shrinking that loop, then you're going to see that your puff is not tall. So everything needs to be as tall as that loop. So this might take a couple tries to get it right, but keep everything loose. And then once you're done getting all your loops, then you're going to go ahead and yarn over and draw through all the loops on the hook. So now you have a tall puff stitch. Okay, so we have all of our loops on our hook, and we're going to chain 3. Okay, so now we're going to make the 2nd puff. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a long loop about 1 inch, yarn over, repeat that twice more. Okay. And if it starts to shrink down, like I feel like that's too short now, then just pull up some yarn and go through all your loops with it so that your loops are all tall again. Yarn over, keep it loose, insert your hook, pull up a loop. All right, so now you've got all your loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw the yarn through all the loops, and chain 3. Your chain 1 is to close your puff stitch, and then you're going to chain 2 more. Okay, so now we have 8 long puff stitches with 3 chains in between, and I have 1 chain on my hook ready to make a half double crochet to finish our round. So yarn over, insert your hook into this chain right after your puff stitch here through both loops of that chain, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and draw the yarn through all the loops on your hook. And now you're starting in the middle of this chain space for your next round, which is where you want to be. So how you're going to start that round is work into this as if it were a chain space. So just go straight into it, bring your yarn up for a single crochet. So now you have 2 loops on your hook for your single. Go ahead and make your single crochet, and then we're going to chain 6. And that is our repeat. Chain 6 and then single crochet into the next chain space. All right, so we're going to continue around till we have 8 chain loops and 8 single crochet. Okay, so I've got all my chain loops here, and the last thing I have are 6 chains on my hook here. 6 chains ready to go, and I'm going to insert the hook into the first single of the round and make a slip stitch. And this next round coming is going to have our long puff stitches again. So go ahead and make a slip stitch into this first chain. And the reason why we're doing that is because we want to start in the chain and it's going to look better whenever we finish our round. So first thing you're going to do is pull up a long loop about 1 inch, yarn over, and we're going to make long puffs just like we did in the beginning. All right, all my loops are on the hook, yarn over, draw the yarn through all the loops, and close it with a chain. Okay, so we're going to do that 4 more times in this chain space. All right, so yarn over, pull up a long loop. I'm using Softfun yarn with a 4mm hook for this project, but any yarn and appropriate hook will work. So I've got my second long puff, close it with a chain, third one. All right, I need 2 more. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and close this with a chain. That's our 5th long puff stitch. So we've closed it with 1 chain, and we're just gonna make single crochet in the next chain space. All right, so this is how each corner is gonna look, and that's gonna be our repeat. So you're gonna chain 1 to start your next corner, and then make your long puffs, and you're gonna use the chain that you use to close them as your chain 1. Okay, so you're gonna chain 1 and then go into your puffs, and at the last, on the last one, whenever you make your chain to close it, that's the one right before you go into your single crochet. All right, so we're gonna continue this way around the square until we get back to the beginning. Okay, so that round is complete, and I have chain 1 on my hook ready to join to complete the round. So we're gonna go into this chain that's closing the puff stitch with a slip stitch to finish our round out. And then we're gonna work straight into this little chain 1 in between our puff stitches. And we're gonna go in there with a beginning DC. And that's gonna be straight into a single crochet and then 1 chain. And that's gonna be the first double crochet of the round. So now I'm gonna chain 1, but that's gonna be for a chain 1 space. And then the next stitch into our next chain 1 space in between our puffs is gonna be a half double. So yarn over, pull up your loop, and draw the yarn through all the loops on the hook for our half double crochet. Then chain 1, half double crochet in the next chain 1 space. Okay, these are all between our puff stitches. Chain 1, and then make a full double into the next chain space. Okay, so now we've got a beginning DC, chain 1, a half, chain 1, half, chain 1, and then a DC. And now we're gonna chain 1, and into this single crochet right here, we're gonna work our corner. So it looks like this is gonna be our square, but it's actually gonna be oriented as a diamond like that. So into this single crochet, we're gonna work 3 treble crochets, chain 3, and then 3 more trebles. Okay, when you make a treble, make sure you don't have your yarn stretched out like that. Keep it at the front, nice and snug. And that will help you from having loose treble stitches. So you've got 3 treble crochets, chain 3, and 3 more trebles, all into that single crochet. Okay, so now I've got my corner, and now we're gonna go ahead and chain 1 and then double crochet. Skipping this space right here, you're gonna double crochet into the chain 1 that's between your first 2 puff stitches, and double crochet, chain 1, and now we're at a repeat with our half doubles into these chain 1 spaces. So I'm going to work just like this around the square, and here's how we're looking so far. All right, I'm going to work this around the square and then show you what it looks like whenever this round is complete. Alrighty, so that round is complete, and I'm just letting you see how that round looks when it's finished. I have 1 chain ready to join into the top of our beginning DC. So we're going to do that by joining into this chain right here that's right above the single, and make sure that you go into leaving the leading loop going out and this part of the chain right here, because if you only work through this part of the chain, you'll have a hole. So you have to make sure you also get this leading loop that goes out to that next chain. Okay, so get in there and make your slip stitch. And when you do that, make sure your slip stitch is loosely over your beginning DC. Okay, so now we're going to work straight into this chain space with a single, and you're actually just going to make single crochet in all the stitches across, stitches and spaces, all the way till you get to your corner. So let's go ahead and work single crochet. When you work into your half double crochets, just be real careful that you work into the right part of it. So just make single crochet in all the stitches and spaces across. Okay, so now we're at our corner and we're going to make 5 single crochet into the corner. All right, and then just make singles in all the stitches and spaces till you get to the next corner, and 5 into the corner chain space, and that's how we're gonna make our round all the way back to the beginning. Alrighty, so our second to last round is finished, and I'm just ready to join into the first single with a slip stitch. So just go ahead and work into that first single with the slip stitch. Again, making sure not to make that slip stitch too tight. It needs to lay over the stitch that you're going into. And then we're gonna work our final round, which is super simple. Just make single crochet in all your stitches across till you get to the corner, and you're gonna put 3 single crochet in each corner, all the way around your square till you get back to the beginning. Okay, so our square is complete now. I'm just ready to join into the first single crochet of the round. You can see I've got my 3 single crochet at each corner, and then just singles in all of the stitches around. So I'm gonna make a slip stitch, pull up a long loop to cut. So your slip stitch is over the first stitch of the round. And so you're going to insert your hook from back to front through both loops of the stitch to the left of your joining stitch and pull your tail to the back. Then you're going to insert your hook through back loop only from back to front through the stitch to the right of your joining stitch. Grab the tail and pull it to the back again. And each time you're going to pull your tail to the back, and in each stitch go through back loop only, putting the hook from back to front. All right, and just go ahead and repeat those steps until your tail is completely woven in. All right, and whenever you edge your squares or do your joining, it's just gonna encase that tail even further, so you can't see the tail and it's totally secure. All right, so this is the Rebecca square from the 2016 Vibrant Vintage Crochet Along, and I've been using Scheepjes Softfun yarn with a size 4mm hook. All right, so each Monday I'll be doing a square from that crochet along, so I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.